So therefore we have, you know, the clinic, and we'll probably start with putting, and I'm told that that probably the weather's going to break, and there's actually a course out here that we can play some sort of round on at the end of the day. Okay? So hopefully that's how it works. And hopefully I won't destroy too much of your game between now and then, so that, you know, the afternoon's enjoyable. Wade Sullivan, my buddy, actually volunteered to assist me, and I thank him for that. He did not realize that the principal job he'll be given is gopher. So when we need someone to do serious hard work, there we go. If he arrived a little earlier, we'd actually had him bring in the box of swag that my sponsor Discraft provided for me, so that we can perhaps reward you folks to some degree for your efforts. So, so thanks to John, who set this whole thing up. He just contacted me like 2 months ago and said, hey, let's do a clinic. And I said, well, okay. And evidently Chad has been involved in the process as well. So
it was selfish reason because I have dial-up and I can't watch his videos online.
There we go.
Bring him here.
There we go. Very nice. Okay, so let me find out where the group is at and what the interest of the group is, because I've made a few notes and I have things to talk about, but it's possible we'll go in a totally different area. Okay, I'd like you to self-evaluate yourself. We'll start with putting, okay? Not in terms of the division that you play in, because we understand there's pro and there's AM1 and AM2 and all those things, but rather your putting prowess. Okay? Who here putts at an AM4 level? That's the lowest division in a tournament. If anybody here sucks, it's you. Okay? Okay?
No way, dude.
Okay. Cool? Cool. It's good that you know where you're at. Okay, it's a very good start. Who's an AM3 putter? Okay, who's an AM2 putter? Where are my AM1s? Okay? And who are my pro putters? Okay. Who here putts below their driving level? In other words, your driving is much better than your putting. Who fits in that category?
Me.
Okay? And who here putts better than you drive? Okay. Okay. You folks that putt better than you drive, you are the rare exceptions to the rule, and you have a bit of a gift, and everyone will hate you your entire career because of it. Okay? Because throwing is not especially hard, putting is the hard part. Okay? Not hard to get, 400 feet to the basket. It's hard to get in the basket from 40 feet. That's the real challenge of the game. Okay, so let me sort of start with a philosophy of putting and actually the game itself. Let's say I randomly took 2 or 3 of you folks, and I put you under 2 years of hard, serious practice, where you're training, you're cross-training, you're practicing, you're putting, you're upshooting, you're driving. We have pros coming in and teach you, we videotape you, da-da-da-da-da. Okay? Let's start with that sort of concept. Well, now, let's start today. What happens today in a round before you start that 2 years of practice? And what happens 2 years later? What's the difference?
2 years of practice.
And what's the difference? If I throw a round today, okay, 4 scores under tournament conditions, and I throw a round, and you folks that have practiced for 2 years throw a round 4 score in tournament conditions, what's the difference? Guaranteed?
5, 10.
Yeah, if you get put in practice, you're definitely good shape. 5, 10, 12 strokes up.
Guaranteed.
2 years guaranteed.
No way. It is possible today you throw the best round of your life. Right? It's possible 2 years from now you say, my God, 2 years I put into this round right now. Everybody's watching me. And you throw the worst round you've thrown in 5 years. Right? Isn't that possible?
Yeah. Sure. I think it's possible. Let's go.
Okay. Now, it's not likely. It's likely that you show improvement. Right? It's likely that you play better. But what is the one assurance between today and 2 years from now?
That you're going to be there playing.
The one assurance is that you will come closer on your shots. Practice does not guarantee training does not guarantee a good result. You all have thrown drives that look perfect until the one invisible branch taps it and it rolls out of bounds. And you've all seen the guy you're playing against, that same shot, shake something, right? And somehow it bounces off something out of bounds and rolls under the basket.
Yes.
Okay? There is a luck component to golf. What practice does for you is the more you practice, the closer you get to throwing good shots. When you miss by less. You're more likely to hit the good shot. You're a lot less likely to shank crazy. Okay? That's what practice does for you. But I would suggest to you that although that provides no guarantee, it is incredibly valuable. Because by getting closer to good shots all the time, the end result is across the board, your scores improve. Okay? So, rather than say, what I want to do is I want to go to my course and shoot 10 under par, that's a numerical request, which you have no control over. You can't control what this does once it leaves your fingertips. All you can try to do is throw better shots. So rather than try to shoot better scores, my suggestion to you is take a whole different approach. Throw better shots. Throw closer to perfect shots as often as you can. Which means that there are some days we know you're going to putt and you're going to hit solid metal, and get nothing but another putt at the basket. Because, well, first of all, these things suck, right? Yeah, they're crazy. A perfect putt.
Spit out the best putts.
Yeah, right. You know, this is not a basketball hoop where a swish is always good, right? This is a golf basket that is arbitrary and capricious and does what it wants to any given moment. Okay, so don't judge yourself by the number on the scorecard. That's maddening. Don't judge yourself by whether you win a first place trophy. Judge yourself instead by how consistent you're becoming, how close you're coming to throwing good shots time after time after time. And by doing that, rather than saying, I had a great round, think back and say, yeah, but I was really lucky. You can say, I shot a good series of shots, and whatever the score was is whatever the score was. Okay? Don't try to win. Try to play well. You can never control who shows up against you in a tournament, or in a league round, or goofing off with your buddies, right? You can't control what anybody else does. All you can control is what you are trying to do. And my suggestion is, don't go for brilliance, go for good. Go for good and consistent. And that's sort of an odd way of looking at putting and the whole game. But I think if you do that, you will be less upset with yourself. There'll be less frustration. And generally, in golf, your worst possible enemy is yourself. Okay? At the point we decide we are losers, we are losers. It's almost a guarantee. And at the point you get mad enough at yourself or at the game, you cannot get lucky. Isn't that crazy? A bad round gets worse and worse and worse. Far more often than it ever gets better. Right? Just the nature of unfortunately, the psychology of ourselves. Now, the way I started this morning, other than driving here, was I played a bit of catch. Okay? I'm a believer in catch. And I believe playing catch is one of the best ways to improve your putting. Why? Because if you're 5 feet from the basket, you're much better than if you're 30 feet from the basket. And 100 feet in is the place where good players make very few mistakes. If you watch a group of pros, 100 feet in, they're going to average 2 strokes. Upshot putt, upshot putt, upshot putt. They seldom make mistakes in that area. If you watch a group of AM4s or non-tournament players, it's scary to watch because they don't have the ability to control short shots. And so either they try to lay it up and whip it, or they're afraid and they shank it in some direction, or